Ryon. Ryon is one of the content designers on STO. Why don't you tell everybody what you do?
I'm a content designer on STO.
Maybe you could tell us what that means.
So content designers, we make the different missions. We write the stories, write the dialogue. We make a lot of requests from our artists and programmers, and then what they deliver to us, we just put it all together, and hopefully it all looks good.
Hopefully it all looks good. And what missions have you done that we would know?
Do you want me to list all of them? I mean, some of them.
Your favorites.
My favorites.
How's that?
Okay, so some of my favorites would be Borgon Conclusions, Temporal Reckoning, Brushfire,
Epic one.
Scylla and Charybdis.
Awesome.
And then from this expansion, I did The Search, Doomed to Repeat, and Quark's Lucky 7.
And Quark's Lucky 7, everybody I have talked to about this expansion has said that episode made the expansion for them.
Oh, well, thank you.
Gotta tell you that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. I mean, definitely. How often do you get to talk to the guy that made the episode?
I mean, I talk to him all the time.
You do, obviously. I don't. I only get to talk to you when you're here.
It was incredible working on that. It was really crazy.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Well, the thing is, it's so different from every other episode, right? Mm-hmm. So the whole time I'm like, people are either going to love it or they're going to hate it. There's going to be absolutely no middle ground whatsoever. Either change is good or change is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
So what was your inspiration? Obviously, the Magnificent Seven.
Yeah. Magnificent Ferengi.
Or Magnificent Ferengi.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I mean, so we wanted to do an episode that got the Ferengi actors together. We've had a good working relationship with Aaron Eisenberg, and we've had a good working relationship with Chase Masterson. So we really wanted to get Max and Armin and Jeffrey Combs to come in, and we needed something good for them all to do. And we're like, okay, well, if we're going to get them all in, let's do a Ferengi episode. And what is a Ferengi episode? Well, they're fun. They're a break from the stress and tension and seriousness of DS9. So we can do a funny episode, which we never do funny episodes because for the most part, Star Trek takes itself very seriously. Right. So if we want to be respectful to the IP, we have to do so as well. So we want okay, well, let's have fun with it. So what are they going to do? Well, what is something that is important to this conflict, but no one would touch? Sort of Kahless. Because no one wants to start another Iconian war.
Right.
In fact, I'm pretty sure no players want to start another Iconian war because they're tired of the Iconian war. Not because it was bad, but just it was a long war.
It was a long game.
It was a long war. So so it's like, okay, so they're going to go steal the Sword of Kahless. Well, I mean, if they just walk on to Ket's ship, she's just going to murder them all. I mean, they are not fighters.
Well, except
they're not even lovers. They're just them.
Although you got to admit, Lek is a bit of a badass.
He is totally badass. But so that's why we took a lot of inspiration from the Magnificent Ferengi of the whole idea of they're competent but accidentally competent.
Right.
So we wanted to go with that, and then of course we're like, okay, well, if we're gonna make it into a heist, let's go full hog on this. So of course I named it Quark's Lucky 7 because there's gonna be 7 of them. 7 is that sort of gambling lucky number.
Yeah.
And of course it evokes the Ocean's 11 thing.
Right.
And this was before I even knew that there was going to be an Ocean's 8. So I'm like, oh sure, now they one-up me with an 8. But yeah, no, that's where it kind of all came from.
Awesome. And yes, I gotta say, I think one of my favorite parts was Lek trying to make something blow up.
Yep. That was a running gag. So that running gag actually came out of the whole idea of them being accidentally competent.
Right.
So the first time I kind of created the Lek scenario, the big feedback I got from the leads was that he felt too much like a commando and not enough like an assassin. So we wanted
Okay.
to dial it back a bit, so it's not like him just mowing things down, but it's like each thing is kind of very deliberate.
Right.
And then we wanted to kind of figure out how do we do like sort of like accidental success. It was like, well, with what Nog is trying to do, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. And he's actually really competent. He is a Starfleet trained captain, right? So it doesn't make sense for him. For Quark, I mean, it's really late in the story, and I mean, even if there's a little bit of humor in there, like he can't be too bumbling,
Right.
because he's kind of awesome too.
Right.
So it's like, okay, so that means the big joke has to be with Lek. And
Yeah.
I'd already kind of had it as my idea for like making him into an assassin, was like he was going to use like consoles to mess with the different Iconian groups.
Right.
And at first it was like we were going to have an explosion and then the electricity and then the beam attack, and then I'm like,
Right.
what if we get rid of the Like we were trying to I was working with the environment artist David Lopez. We were trying to come up with like kind of the visuals for that area. I'm like, what if they're trying to like put out fire? Like the Iconians are trying to put out fires, and then and then like, well, how do the Iconians put out fires? Well, they don't use fire extinguishers. They actually open up portals into space and suck the fire out.
Interesting.
Right? So then it was like, well, so if we're not going to make that into an explosion, what can we do? And that's kind of when like the gears started turning. I'm like, what if he never gets an explosion? Right? Like, what if that's the whole thing? Right? So his whole thing is he's overloading these consoles, but he's not doing it in a way that he knows what he's doing. Right? So he overloads it, and instead of it blowing up the console, it just makes a really big portal and sucks them all out into space. And then it's like, okay, well, now he's going to make the next one blow up. Like, no, he actually electrocutes them all.
What do you gotta do to get something to explode around here?
And then, of course, when we finally get to the scene where he does get to the explosion, I get to have that joke of like, well, how good are you at trinary conversions? Because, there's that moment where I feel like I can kind of imagine the players being like, oh no, not another one. Because, I mean, I don't think it was a really tough puzzle, but, everyone's miles may vary.
Right.
I mean, I also created it, so I already had an advantage.
You already knew.
But, because rewinding back to ROM, I have that little joke with the isolinear chip puzzle, because it's like, obviously you're going to do isolinear chips to open up a door on a Starfleet station, because we already know that they have like those chip things. So I'm like, okay, well, we're going to do that. And Al's like, come on, I've done like so many isolinear chip puzzles. Like, they take forever. They're not like, they don't, at this point in the game, they're not adding anything. So I'm like, I got an idea. And I remember the first time I put it in where they will, where he brute forces it regardless.
Yeah.
And there's a moment like where they're like, wait a second, like, did I break something? And then they're like, oh my god, no, that's brilliant. Like, it's setting you up to and the best thing is, every person who I've seen, like every person I've watched play the game, like play that mission, they get to that and they're like, okay, let's figure this out. Green, blue, green, white, and then they click the button, and then it's like, solve the thing, and they're like, oh. like they're stealing themselves to have to solve it, and then it solves it for them. And then, of course, I did the first time where you had to unsolve.
Oh. Yes.
But again,
But
considering that, like, for some reason they seem unsolved until they're solved, like, well, it's like, okay, that means just pulling one chip out is going to unsolve it again and relock the door.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun with that. So then, so now, fast forwarding back to Lek, it kind of created that same sort of situation of, are we now at too many trinary conversions? It's like, well, you know what? Lek's not really the patient type. He's just going to turn his blaster on and blow up. Because, that's the thing that we've seen in...
throw those knives and just...
Well, we've seen in Star Trek that, like, you can make a phaser explode.
Yeah.
So it's just like, we already know that works.
He's going to do that, yeah.
So I thought it just worked out well. And then, oh my god, like, Weston Pierce, our animator.
Yeah.
I told him just the key is he throws my original thing was like he jams the blaster into the console and runs, and he did that cutscene that he made with the slow motion. And let me tell you, when we first saw that cutscene, he had actually put the music Sabotage to it.
Hi.
Hi there. You remember me?
Yes, I remember
Okay.
you.
We just suddenly got Garrick.
We just suddenly got Andrew Robinson dropping by. You have a few moments. All right.
Oh, I'm far less
You
important.
want me to come around to you?
Yes. There's an opening right there at the end of this table here.
Yeah, no, I totally understand where
Yes.
I am not nearly as interesting or as important
Well,
as.
he's got his limited time.
Yeah, we can always chat later.
All right. Thank you, Ryan, for stopping by.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. The interviews, we don't know what to do. Ryan's coming back. There we go. Thank you, Ryan, for that. I apologize.
No worries.
Yeah.
Did you hear the question I asked him?
No, I didn't.
So I asked him. So I heard he was saying that he's
Yeah.
retired now. I said, so in your retirement, have you thought about becoming a simple tailor?
Ah,
And he yells, "No, I'm a terrible tailor. I couldn't mend anything to save my life."
that's awesome. That is awesome. So we got to sit down with Garrick, and now we're back with Ryan. So we were discussing Quark's Lucky 7.
Yeah.
Where were we? Oh goodness.
So we were just talking about Lek and
Yes.
and
The lack of
Sabotage.
explosions. Sabotage.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we had like a company meeting or a team meeting, and Weston had set up the video to play Sabotage, like where like it does that like yell in the beginning just
Yeah.
as he's whipping out the glasses. Like it was perfect, right? Like the entire like
Right.
all of us just start cracking up. It's amazing. And Al actually went and tried to see if we could get the license for the song. It was not affordable.
Oh.
So, it's one of those things that we all have internally, and we're just
wow.
it was a great moment, but unfortunately we just couldn't provide that to you guys.
That's wow.
But if you have the song and you try
cue
to
it up.
time it out, you can experience it the way we experienced
So
it.
there you go. So cue it up, and you can try it out and experience it the way they really meant for us to experience it. That would be cool. Very nice. So did you have anything else you wanted to share with us? Any other episodes maybe?
Well, so I can definitely talk more about Doomed to Repeat and The Search.
Okay.
So since you just had Andrew
Yes.
Robinson here, The Search was actually a lot of fun writing
Yeah.
for him because we really wanted him to be the star of that final cutscene. Garrick has figured this all out,
Yep.
and he's kind of just bringing everyone up to par with him.
Yeah.
So, we really wanted that to feel like he's interrogating Odo, and Odo is not ready for this. Because no one is ready to be interrogated by Garrick. No one is.
Of course.
So that was a lot of fun to write. And then, of course, we're like, well, how is Kira going to react to all this? And we knew that she had to slap him.
She just whoa.
And it was the slap you could hear
It
across
was.
the galaxy.
It was. It was like she slapped him so hard. I'm surprised he was able to keep his form.
I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that it'd be really hard to do some sort of like crazy animation, I think we probably would have had him like, that would have been maybe a little too cartoony, but
Yeah.
I'm sure there would have been at least one take where we tried having him just go, woo.
Would have been fun.
That would have been amazing, but yeah, we wouldn't have been able to do it. But that was a lot of fun to write. I know a lot of people fell in love with the Quorum and Merrimat. I think I remember seeing some posts on Reddit of Merrimat is my spirit animal.
Yeah.
And I think people have been asking for more of her in future episodes. So we'll see what we can
Very
do.
cool.
She was a fun character to kind of like write. Like I wanted to have one person who was going to do that little joke of like, I can tell you, but then I'll have to kill you, sort of thing. And then Paul Reed, our writer, he he was able to keep that kind of humor in there and make it work really well. And I don't know who the voice actress was who did her, but it was awesome. It was so good. Like it was just a perfect delivery. So that was a lot of fun. And then let's see, Doomed to Repeat. Yeah, so I got like the really like meaty episodes right in the middle,
I know,
right? So, with Doomed to Repeat, it's like this was our big reveal that like of what the Dominion had actually been up to, and or at least it was hinting at what the Dominion had been up to. Because Tinny vs. Torquem's where we really have the reveal,
Right.
But also the fact that
kind of figured it out.
that the Herc were actually a docile race, and something woke up this rage, and it was a lot of fun trying to explain all that, with the different logs, so that you could slowly be getting the pieces, and it's one of those weird things where it's such a gamey thing to do, right? Like, why is it that every console can only play one log? But it paces it out so well, and I'm really happy for how that felt. And then trying to get then having you go downstairs and there's all those Fakiri just in stasis spots, and of course if you don't have a Klingon character, this is your first real experience of who they are. I mean, you kind of may have seen them in the Arena Sompek, but if you've just been playing missions and no other content, this is your first experience with these creatures, and they're horrifying looking. They are the things of nightmare.
I know, right?
So
it just amazes me that those were created, engineered
by the Dominion.
Spoiler alert.
And not only were they created by the Dominion, they were created by the Dominion to wipe out the Klingons.
Yeah, that was just wow.
So that was
surprising.
That was a really fun plot twist to write.
Yes.
And then of course you had the missed shot with Kira that reveals the truth about the Herc. And then Wei Yun coming in and completely suspiciously ruining the moment.
Yep.
There was actually an earlier version of that cutscene where his phaser was smoking. So it's that same pose but with the smoking phaser. It just looks so badass. It's so cool.
It's those little things.
Yeah. But it's just but phasers don't smoke. So it doesn't make sense. It's too much like a real gun at that point. So, but that whole moment of what are you doing, and him trying to one of my favorite parts of that little conversation is he never even explains why he's there.
I know.
And it's not an accident. He's purposely trying to shift the conversation.
Nope. We're not gonna mention that.
So that way no one really even thinks about it. It's just wait, things are bad. We should get out of here.
Yeah.
So and that was a lot of fun. And I feel like the balance of the Fakiri fight at the end, it's a bit of a scary fight, but then it just ends so abruptly with the Herc showing up that I think it actually it gives you a moment to just let your tension just release, and so I thought that worked out well, and of course then it sets up the Core 27 Fakiri being there, so. It was actually interesting doing 3 episodes in a row because I knew exactly where the story was leading with each moment. It's always hard when you're giving your story to someone else and then it comes back to you, because even though we do talk to each other, there's always those moments where when you're right, if you're doing your 2 episodes before the person in the middle. You're just kind of hoping that it all, the black box of what's in the middle works.
Yeah.
So I knew that all of my handoffs to myself would work correctly. So that worked out really well.
There you go.
And then, of course, Jesse did such a great job with Tinny vs. Torquem.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he's our horror master, because he also does, what's it called? Hearts and Minds?
Hearts and Minds?
Yeah. Bonnie can, yeah. That's him too.
Okay. Devonic
But like he's like I actually a couple years back we were doing Extra Life at the office, and Jesse ran a Vampire the Masquerade game.
Okay.
And it's just he gets into like the gothic horror so like smoothly.
Yeah.
Like it almost feels like his brain is just always
It's just there.
a gothic horror place. So
What are we seeing here? So, is it a coincidence that they're the Fakiri? Let's see.
So the
That
Fakiri
the
aren't all
Fakiri are
female.
female,
It's just
Gemini are
the
all
specific type are female. The captains and commanders are all male. No one's really sure what the ensigns are. They're kind of
Yeah.
androgynous.
Yeah. Yep.
So, but it was. I mean, so the real reason why we have like so many of the female Fakiri shown there is more that their body proportions are actually the most like stable. So, like when we had to put them in that pose, there was
Yeah.
the least amount of like warping. So, like I actually would have loved to have all four or all five Fakiri kind of interspersed. But it's just it was just a limitation of the art.
Very nice. All right. Did chat have any questions for Ryan here?
Yes. Do you have any questions?
Reading
Other
the
than
questions
does
come.
nothing on the ship
It'll
explode?
take a few seconds
I know.
because there's about a 10 second delay.
But I am happy you guys enjoyed. I'm really happy that you guys are enjoying the episode. Enjoying really the whole expansion. It was a
Okay.
lot of work from all of us.
Dude, that Vonnegut mission scared the crap out of me when I first played it. Not because of the mission, but because the air vent in my house flew my door open at the same time. The NPC said that line. Thought someone broke in my house.
That's.
That would
I will
be
have to. I will have to
horrible.
tell Jesse that. That's pretty awesome. That's a great story.
That is. It is. And then, the Vonnegut mission was amazing.
Yeah.
So Jesse did a good job with that.
Yeah, no, Jesse is an
But,
incredible
yeah.
designer. He's amazing.
Yeah. But yes, so thank you for all the work you do with STO. Thank you for coming and talking to us. And thank you for letting us take a break and talk to Andrew there.
Trust me, I
appreciate
understand. He is way more important than I am.
You're all important.
But no, thank you so much. Like, our game is nothing without the fans. So, you guys make it all worthwhile.
Thank you. And we wouldn't have a podcast without you guys. So there you go. We need each other.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll see
we have a
you.
symbiotic relationship.
I know, right? And I'll see you at Klingon Karaoke
Yes. No, I will see you at Klingon
Yes.
Karaoke.
with our special surprise. They
Yeah.
still don't know.
I know what
But
it
I've
is.
told them it's epic, and my fortitude will not be questioned for a very long time after this.
It's true.
It is true. Ryan knows all about what's going to happen.
It's gonna be awesome. You're gonna love it.
It is.
All right, I'll see you around.
All right, I'll see you later.
Okay, I already shut all that down. I did.